In this segment, we're going to talk about sketching. In particular, we're going to talk about pencil and paper sketching. The reason we're going to do this is because we're interested in documenting our user experiences and communicating them as stories to other people, either on our team or to the users we're trying to serve. We need a lot of stories. We need a lot of ideas, which means we need to do these quickly and with minimal effort. So, a quick review of the tools you'll need. Very cheap, very easy. First thing, obviously, is paper. I recommend a small pad. This one is about 5 inches by 7 inches. You may at times want a larger pad for bigger layouts. I carry this one because it's easy to carry with me. I keep it in my briefcase all the time, along with the other things I'll need. I don't recommend that you use just regular paper, printer paper. What happens with the printer paper is it doesn't really have enough tooth in the paper to grasp the pencil markings very well. So these pads are not expensive. I recommend you get one. It's a quick and easy way. If you're serious about creating stories for people about their user experiences, this is the way to go. Pencils. 2 ways to go. One way is with standard drawing pencils. These are just things you would buy at any art store. They're readily available. The other approach is the mechanical pencil. I've tried both. I've been successful with both, but I prefer the regular pencils for a couple of reasons. Number one, I always pick a 2H. That's 2 times hard, because I sharpen it to a point, and this allows me to sketch very quickly and very lightly. Then what I do is I'll show you in a minute, I take like a 4B or a 6B. B stands for black, these are soft. A 4 or 6B, sharpened a little differently, because basically what I want is I want a nice wide black mark. We'll show you why this works out. Now this mechanical pencil, it never needs to be sharpened, but also you only get 1 hardness and 1 thickness, which sometimes is a bit of a problem. The other tools you want, of course, is an eraser. If you're using the regular pencils, you'll want a cheap sharpener. You don't need anything fancy. This thing does the trick just fine. I like this one. It has a little lid on it so that the goop doesn't get out, but usually the goop doesn't get out anyway, so it doesn't matter. Any kind of a good eraser will do. Sometimes, though I very rarely use it, many people want a ruler. I don't use them very often. And I also recommend a small bag for holding them. Throw it in your briefcase, carry it with you wherever you want to go. What you really want to do is you want to be able to quickly have an idea, tell the story of that idea, preserve it for yourself, or be ready to share it with somebody else. Okay, so to give you an idea of the technique I use, I want to tell you a story about my keyboard. Sounds pretty mundane. Here's my keyboard. I use a split keyboard. Notice it's curved here at the bottom. And I will quickly do you a sketch that'll tell you why I like it. Okay, 1H pencil. This curve across the bottom is essential. It's what makes this keyboard work. The other thing is the keys themselves are arranged in 2 separate blocks like so. Now I don't really care about the nature of the keys, because what I really like it for is the way it helps my wrists. So for this sketch, 2 blocks of what look like keys. They're simple, not a very big deal, and it has a nice big fat space bar going here like this. Now the thing that makes a difference for me is the way my hands fit. Now, I don't actually, for this story I want to tell you, I don't actually care where my fingers are, because what matters, so let's just make a hand with a thumb out on the space bar and a wrist. Okay, I'll try another hand. And a wrist. Okay. And what I'm going to also give you is I'm going to give you a line here and a line here, because I care about how it keeps my wrists straight. And then, since I want to draw attention to this, I'll do a quick sketch of an arrow like this, and another one going over here like this, and I will put a smiley face right here because I like this. Done. Done. I've captured everything I want about the keyboard. Now some of you are looking at this through the camera and saying, I can barely see what you did, Dan. And the answer is, you're right. I'll come back to that in a second. I need 2 steps to this keyboard, because this other part of the story I want to tell you is the standard keyboard, which I don't like. Okay, it's got, looks like this. It's got a whole rectangle of keys arranged in rows like so. Everybody gets the idea it's a keyboard. Space bar right here. Now what happens is here's my mitt, my simple mitt hand, and there's my wrists going off to the width of my shoulders. And here's another simple mitt hand. Again, nothing elaborate. I'm not trying to be an artist, I'm trying to communicate. So I'm going to put 2 lines here and here, because this angle is what drives me crazy. A couple of arrows and a frowny face, because that's the story I want to tell you about this. Now because this hurts, I'm actually going to put a few little pain strokes in there right there just to draw your attention to it. Alright, these don't look like hands, it doesn't look like a keyboard, and I don't care, because what I'm trying to do is tell you a story. Now this usually isn't good enough to tell the story because it's too faint. Many of you probably can't even see it right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to erase any of these lines. They were done with the light pencil. I've now got my 2B pencil, which I'm going to bring out here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from whatever's in front. So what's in front right now is this arrow and this arrow. They're in front. And I'll give them a little dimensionality because it makes it look cooler and it doesn't take very much time. All I'm doing is give them a little bit of a shadow there. Makes them important. Okay, here comes my angles of the wrist, which I really don't like. It makes my wrist sore day after day. And my pain points. That's where my owie is. Let's get my frowny face going here. Alright, now I'll work down. The next layer down are my hands. So here's my hands. I can probably put a little bit right in there. Notice I left a gap right here. It makes those pain points feel like they're on top. Hands here, coming down like so. I decided to do a bigger thumb when I did it over again. Notice I'm just leaving those lines under there were drawn before. I'm just leaving them. Again, I'm trying to do this quick and fast. Get my outer rectangle of my keyboard. Now notice my 4B pencil. It's making nice fat black lines. I don't necessarily hit exactly where I want it to. It's not important. I decided to add an extra line there because it made it look a little better. Okay, so here I have a story. If I use my standard keyboard with my hands like this, I get pain right here in my wrists. I don't like it. I flip back to my page before. The lines are faint, and I'm going to turn you off for a minute while I finish this story here. Now remember, we're not trying to be artists. We're trying to communicate a story. We're trying to communicate a problem and a solution. All right, so with these two, it's easy for me to tell my story. If you give me a standard keyboard and I align my hands so that they work on the keyboard, it bends my wrists and it hurts. If I do that over a lot of times, I don't like it. If you give me this keyboard that has the split, it allows me to place my hands so that they're aligned with my wrists and aligned with my forearms. Notice there's no kinking right here, no pain, happiness and smiling. Quickly, told a story, simple tools. A decent pad of paper, a 1H, a 2H, and a 4B pencil. Looks like I need a little sharpening here. That'll take me about 10 seconds. And occasionally I need an eraser. Very few tools let you tell a story very quickly. Good luck.